Are the Detroit Red Wings back, Riley? 4-game win
Some are
streak.
saying some are saying if you look at some Red Wings circles, there's some chatter, especially after the sell the team chance at the game that you went to. That must have kicked. It's either that or Todd McClellan has just absolutely kick-started them.
They were
Did
also
you want to
chanting
chime in?
Jared Goff, so they
They
were.
were chanting. They're all in on Lions fever. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure how the Lions are doing right now, but ever since Todd McClellan came in, they lost that first one against the Leafs, which in the first game with a new coach, you really have no the coach has no say in what's going on. He got a practice in, and next thing you know, they're on a 4-game win streak, beating like some pretty good teams as well. So the Jets are rolling. Talking to a couple Red Wings fans, there's some reemergence of some players who were really in the dumps under Derek Lalonde. If you look at Ben Sherratt, this guy has been just like the butt of all jokes in the last couple of years as a Detroit Red Wing. In the games that I went to too, he was very. It was a joke that he was even out there. Hamilton, Ontario native, by the way, and he he has completely looked like a different human, according to Detroit Red Wings fans under Todd McClellan, which is good. Maybe it's a completely different defensive system that Todd McClellan's instilling that works more towards these older defensemen that they have. I know they have Edvinson and Sider, obviously, but another guy, Jonathan Bergeron, has kind of broken out, and Joe Veleno, they put him up on the top line, and he's been doing really well. And those are two guys that were kind of bubble guys the last couple years. So if he can take their depth, and Patrick Kane has done, I understand all this. I'm saying it's 4 games, but if you look at Patrick Kane, he's just been on a steady decline for the last couple years, and he's even stepped it up. And that's what we look at with the Detroit Red Wings. Obviously, they have Larkin and DeBrincat and Raymond, who I will talk about in a second. But they need to get more out of their depth. Their Comfer, Camp, sorry, Comfer, Cobb, Kane, Berggren, Veleno. These are guys, and Rasmussen. They need more out of those guys, and Todd McClellan has really done a wonder so far in his first 5 games, getting through to
Beside the
those
Leaf game.
guys. Beside the Leafs game, which
That's
I
it.
already said he had nothing to do with. And I'd also like to say Dylan Larkin was on a 15-game goal drought before Derek Lalonde got fired, and he has 4 goals in his last 5 since Todd took over. So pretty crazy. I know you got him in fantasy, so um, it's been crazy turnaround in Detroit, and this is exactly what they've needed. I know some Red Wings fans have been banging the drum of fire Derek Lalonde for a while now and sell the team. And when you get a veteran coach in, I know Derek Lalonde was a success story in, I believe, the ECHL, maybe the AHL, and done really well. And he's a great guy. Heard him on Spit and Chicklets and stuff. He's a very, very good guy. But sometimes you need to bring in just a veteran in Todd McClellan who coached McDavid, coached LA, did very well in San Jose. Sometimes these are the guys that you need. And who knows what could happen in Detroit? They just missed out on the playoffs last year. So,
Yeah. I was also going to say
yeah.
that, I mean, this was also kind of proof of, like, a bit of favoritism or, like, the connection stuff. Like, obviously, Lalonde was an assistant on Tampa. Stevie Y kind of plucked one of his guys, right? So that was kind of the situation there. But, I mean, I'm with you. Bringing in the veteran guy. Obviously, for a lot of veterans that are on this team, too, it's a good fit.
Also, Detroit gets no respect. I'm a Sabres fan, so I try to disrespect Detroit as much as I possibly can. But I will say I gotta give him his flowers. Lucas Raymond leads all U23 players in points, and he has been outstanding. I remember I was having a discussion with a Red Wings fan a couple days ago, and we went back and we were looking at because I was pretty sure that he was heavily considered for the number 1 spot in Lafreniere's draft. I know Lafreniere was exceptional, status was great at the World Juniors, everything like that. But going into the season, it was him and Quentin Byfield, Lafreniere, Byfield, and Raymond. And Raymond, I don't know, he didn't have a good World Juniors or something, but everybody kind of knew. And then he fell to Detroit, and he's been one of the best player out of that draft, arguably. Stutzel's been very, very good. and Lafreniere has picked it up the last couple years. But Raymond has been almost like a top 6 forward since he came into the league. So I got to give him his flowers. He does not get enough respect at all. Yeah, I just thought that was important because when I saw that stat, I was like, Lucas Raymond, really? But here we are. The guy gets no talk around the league at all.
Definitely agree on the Raymond point. I was also going to say, like, I feel like Raymond goes through those stretches similar to what you said about Larkin. Obviously, I think Larkin does other things. So when Raymond's not going, I think it may be a little bit more evident that he's not. So, I mean, I'm with you. I would say also on the Red Wings, just at a bigger picture, and we'll probably make another video to talk about this, is if they keep winning, if they go back up into the standings, and I mean, we just saw it with Montreal. Montreal had a great road trip, and all of a sudden they're like a point or a couple points out of a wild card spot. So I feel like it happened so quick. I mean, again, I'm talking to a Sabres fan here where it was like winning right into the wild card and then losing, and then you bring yourself back down. So I feel like those teams that we're talking about here, like Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal, Ottawa, it's a lot of this happening. And I mean, Ottawa's just seen it recently, and they've been on the road for a while. So I think with Detroit specifically, it's going to be a lot of tough decision-making coming out of the Four Nations for Stevie Y, because then the deadline comes up quick, and you've got veterans like Tarasenko, Kane, go down the list, and specifically for Kane on the contract is like, are you going to flip him to a contender? Because there's only so many years left of Patrick Kane. We're probably getting to the end. So just quickly on your perspective, is that kind of where you're at with the Red Wings? Just it's a wait and see, or do you still think they're selling before the deadline for sure?
I have no idea what's going to happen with the Red Wings. The Sabres and Red Wings have been scouting each other. You see it online, and Elliot's talking about it. I have no clue what each team wants in that situation. I just have no idea what direction. If it was me running them, I would try and get a little bit younger. I mean, they feel a little old to me, especially for a team that should be on the rise. So I would probably try and like a conservative sell, but that's just me. I have no idea. If they go on a win streak, they could be buying.
No, I'm with you. We'll see about the Red Wings. I think we leave it at that for now. We'll probably make a video on maybe some trade stuff that they're going to go into, but they definitely went into the direction of bringing some hometown boys with Confer and Cop, as you talked about, but those weren't cheap contracts. So I really think Stevie Y's got to look at it from just a bigger picture, no bias, no hometown consideration in these decisions, and just go, okay, how are we going to build this team going forward? Because it's more, for me, Riley, it's more on the lens of what we talked about with Seider, and now you talking about Raymond versus these other guys that, I mean, the Red Wings might not just be there yet, so we'll see. But I think the Red Wings definitely showing better with McClellan, but definitely needs to show more focus on a guy like Lucas Raymond, Seider, those young guys.
They also got two-time defenseman of the tournament, Axel Sandin Pellikka on the way, so they bright things ahead.
And we just saw Augustine win the gold medal, Detroit Red Wings prospect, and Costa.
Most wins in U.S. history.
Yeah,
too.
and Sebastian Costa.